Hi, Dr. White here with your Week 2 update. First of all, I want to thank everybody for their strong work that they did with the introductions. It may not seem like a big deal because you were just writing a few sentences about yourself and your previous experiences with reading and writing. But these experiences are what gives you the decisions that you're going to make throughout this course. They help to determine both your interests, your knowledge areas, and maybe some areas that you want to learn a little bit more about. Also, I'd like to call attention to the tremendous range of skills and experiences that you all bring to this course. You have experience working in surgery facilities. You've written and studied about HIV, and one of you has written a narrative even of the epidemiological narrative of HIV/AIDS in the United States. So you have clinical experience, you have specialty experience. Some of you have experiences as well taking online courses before, and even writing about, and I'm going to quote Heather here, misconceptions surrounding brain or memory training at the biological level. And yes, Heather, you will work on some of the technical writing skills that you need. At the same time, though, we're going to be focusing a lot on rhetorical situation. Now, I'll speak a little more about rhetorical situation later this week, but what you want to know for now is that rhetorical situation has three elements. There's an exegesis, otherwise known as a need, some kind of a problem that can be resolved through a communication act. There's an audience, self-explanatory, and there is a message, something to be communicated. So the idea of a rhetorical situation is that the way we communicate in any given area is determined by those things: the problem that needs to be resolved, the need that needs to be met, the audience, and of course, the speaker or the writer. So much of the writing that you describe in your introductions comes from a couple of different rhetorical situations. One is the classroom. Whenever you're in the classroom, online or real, you are writing for a teacher audience, me or someone like me. And that audience has some responsibilities, namely assessment, grading. And the classroom is also about skill formation and knowledge mastery. Maybe knowledge mastery and skill formation. You know what I'm getting at. In other words, you don't write in the classroom the same way that you write, for instance, in the workplace. And that's what that comment that I just mentioned really points to. Similarly, when you're at work, you write for work needs efficiently. Shorthand. You use a lot of jargon, words that might only be interpretable to someone in your discourse community or community of practice. And of course, you might write differently to your parents, perhaps a phone call, than you would get in touch with your roommate, perhaps a text, or the way that you might keep up with friends from home. Think about social media comments. So different relationships, different needs, different problems to be resolved, have different communication strategies to be entailed. This, broadly speaking, is what we might think of as the rhetorical situation. Now, as we go through Module 1, you are going to learn to better understand the textual strategies that members of your discourse communities use to address the various rhetorical situations in which they find themselves. You already have this experience to draw from. You just need to know how to activate it. That's my job, to put you in a position to activate those experiences and this knowledge in a productive way. So looking at the schedule for this week, we have a few things to do. The first is to read the article Discourse Communities and Communities of Practice by Karl-Heinz Pogner. Next, you'll have to read the Discourse Community and Genre Analysis Assignment Prompt and Peer Review Guidelines. And then you're going to have to write 300 words explaining the writing assignment. Now, that might seem like a silly assignment, but oftentimes the most important step to succeeding in the rhetorical situation that is the classroom is understanding the writing assignment and what you need to do and why you need to do it. So I'm going to help you with that, or at least put you in a position to help yourselves. That has to be done by Tuesday night. For Thursday night, you need to go through and read the Snell Library AWD Subject Guide. Use the course-specific one, 3306. They have instructional videos, tutorials, and this, generally speaking, will serve as your introduction to scholarly writing. The really important thing to get from this exploration of the subject guide is acquainted with the resources that the library has for you. For the purposes of this course, the library will be your starting point for scholarly writing, aka discourse community work. The library filters the available materials so that most everything they have access to should be of some level of scholarly importance. We'll talk in more detail about this later on, but one of the most important things that you're going to need to experiment here are the various search engines and filters that allow you to find your interest, the topic that you want to better understand or learn more about, as it might be represented in scholarly publications. So the big one is the peer-reviewed filter. You'll see that there's a peer-review filter that you can use to limit your search results to only peer-reviewed publications. This is another word for scholarly writing, aka discourse community knowledge. Read the description of peer review that I have in the schedule because that gives you some more precise background on it and how it might differ than non-peer-reviewed publications. So for this week, you're going to be first learning to understand and distinguish discourse communities and communities of practice. Second, you'll be identifying how your particular interests and topics are represented in your discourse community via scholarly writing accessible through the Snell Library resources. Follow the precise instructions for each of the days, and they should, be fine. Just do what it says, and you're in a good spot. For Friday, you have to write your first reflective journal entry. Again, read the precise instructions in the schedule for how to pursue this project. These reflective journal entries are important. It's an opportunity for you to think critically and inform me about your experience in the online classroom and your progress through the course material. I want to distinguish these things because, on the one hand, the online course format will dictate how we learn, but at the same time, your progress through the course material is a little bit different. The course material relates to your performance in this course and, generally speaking, your success. The online course format, however, can be every bit as important and can impact you significantly. So, one of the things that we need to use this space for is communication. I want to put you in the best position to help yourselves, and this is one of the reasons that I'm going to be able to do that, I hope. Now, just to let you know, the journal is a confidential exchange point. In other words, I can read it, you can read it, no one else can. So anything that you need to tell me about, any special requests or anything that you think might be, speaking to the answers, speaking to the questions that are due Friday, September 14th, feel free to write about it. That writing won't be visible to anybody but me. Have a great week. I'll be checking in on the discussion posts probably Wednesday after Tuesday's assignment is due. Have a great day.